they join the military here. They do it under their own free will.
Well, let me tell you something, Jane, that you need to know for your work on the national radio networks in the United States.
Okay.
The British soldiers did not join the British Army in order to fight the United States' wars. And I'm telling you that the great majority of British people think we've already shed enough blood in Afghanistan, thanks very much, fighting George Bush's wars, and we're not going to fight them any more enthusiastically because Barack Obama's the president.
Excuse me, though, George. Let me just say one thing. First of all, having lived in Britain and in the Middle East and all over Europe, I have been in terrorist attacks. I have been in countries where there were coups. I lived in Israel during the 73 war. I was filming then in a film. So I know what it's like to take cover. But that war, the terrorist war that is going on right now, before there were the jihadists that stepped up their hatred against not only America but the Western allies, including Britain, because let's face it, George, Britain and America have been allies a long time, not just on this war but other wars as well.
Jane,
there is plenty of blood shed in Britain. What about the subway attacks?
Jane, there were no Afghans involved in the subway attacks, and there are no Afghans have ever attacked America. Don't you understand that?
But what about the Taliban?
What's the last time an Afghan committed any act of terrorism in the United States?
Have we stopped every member of Al-Qaeda? Do we know where every member of Al-Qaeda hails from? Or the Islamic jihadists?
Al-Qaeda.
Or any
you
terrorist
see,
Muslim?
one of the problems with this monomaniacal neocon approach of yours is that you conflate every Muslim, every 1.6 billion Muslims into one.
No,
You're talking about the Taliban. The Taliban are an Afghan group who never attacked anyone outside of Afghanistan. Never. Not on any occasion, ever.
George, first of all, I don't equate every Muslim.
I didn't say equate, I said conflate.
Well, first of all, it's just like I don't look at every Muslim or every jihadist emblematic of what every Muslim is going to do. I lived among Arabs and Jews in the Middle East. I have friends on both sides, and I don't look at a Muslim. And here in this country, I have friends who are Muslim. I don't look at them and think, "Ooh, are they going to wake up one day and be a terrorist?" No, I don't. But what I don't like is somebody trying to force their ideology down my throat and say, if you don't like it, I'm going to blow you up.
Jane, when was the last Afghan who ever tried to force anything down your throat? It's you who invaded Afghanistan, not them that invaded you.
You know,
Jane, do you know this? Because you obviously don't, so let me spell it out to you. There was not a single Afghan on any of the planes that struck the United States on 9/11. There was not a single Afghan on any subway or any bus in the horrific atrocities on 7/7. No Afghan has ever attacked you. It's you who's attacking them.
George, guilt by association. The Taliban has guarded Al-Qaeda and has protected Al-Qaeda and other terrorist Muslims for a very, very long time.
Who started Al-Qaeda, Jane? Do you know that? You've already told us that you were around in 1973, so I infer, I hope not ungallantly, that you are d'un certain âge. In which case, you'll know very well that the people who created Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden and the rest, were your government and mine in the late 1970s and the 1980s.
You mean with the special relationship that our government has with them?
No, I mean the arming and funding of the jihadists, as you would have it, in the war against the Afghan government from the late 1970s through to their triumph, which was hailed by both governments at the time. Ronald Reagan invited into the White House the very people who became Al-Qaeda. And Margaret Thatcher did the same on the platform of the Conservative Party conference in Blackpool. Or don't you know these things?
Yes. Yes, but...
That's enough, I think. We've had enough of Jane Silk. Not so smooth. Here's William.